Here we are.
Hi.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is morning this time for us, too.
Yeah, well,
So-
I like to hedge my bets and believe that people are listening to this first thing in the morning, Josh.
That would actually be awful. I don't think I would do that.
What, listen to us or listen to a podcast in general?
I think either. Yeah.
You're not
First thing in the morning?
You're not a morning person, are you?
Not really. I've become more of a morning person now, though. I kind of, because I have to.
Yeah, so becoming a morning person by force doesn't really make you a real morning person.
No, it doesn't. It just means that I live with it and hate myself a little bit more each day.
I don't subscribe to the idea of morning person.
Says the guy who's still in his pajamas at 11:30.
Well, that's why I don't subscribe to it. I subscribe to the idea of getting enough sleep and getting out of bed when you're done.
Just wait till you have kids, my friend. You don't get to choose anymore.
Yeah, well, again, your fault.
I'm just saying. Isn't it nice for you?
Yeah.
So, hey, here we are. Again, for us, we recorded a podcast already. And then
Didn't have to say that.
I feel like we should set it up because we actually started the other podcast with a lot of energy and fun, and then it
devolved into a political rant.
really long. But we were not funny for 20 minutes.
Sometimes you got to get serious,
Yeah, sure.
but
I don't think anybody is listening to this podcast
Exactly.
to hear the two of us be serious, though.
exactly. So
Here we are now.
That's why we're redoing this.
The next day, both of us clearly tired because we're lying down on different parts of Noah's couch.
I'm so tired. I
Yeah. Why are you? What happened? What'd you do?
well, it was pretty busy last night.
Oh yeah, you had a screening.
We did a screening for Das Apartment.
Right. Ray Almeida, who was on our last live show.
They released the final episode of Das Apartment, which is a web series. You can see it on YouTube. It's about an apartment group of three individuals who live in an apartment together. I'm trying to think of the English word for WG. Flat share.
Sure.
They live in a flat share together, and in Berlin, and it's really funny. It's in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, roommates, right? And it's kind of like the modern day Friends, but a whole lot better.
So they had a screening party last night. Your cat is.
They had a
sniffing.
screening party and released the final episode, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Good.
It was good times.
It was a good weekend for CCB this weekend.
It was a great weekend. Good start to the year. Yeah. Friday night improv was sold out. Saturday stand-up Saturdays was sold out. Last night, Sunday night, like over 50 people there, so that was great.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That improv show on Friday night was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I haven't had that much fun doing a full show like that in a long time.
Oh, man. So if you're wondering what that's all about, every Friday night at CCB, you can come check out some improv.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic,
Yeah.
since we're not doing piffle anymore, we've had a lot of people. It's funny, we talked about this a little bit, but since this past couple of weeks, since we kind of made the announcement that like piffle is more or less on hiatus, on ice a little bit, live shows. We've had a lot of people reach out to us like, hey, when's the next live show? And blah, 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 live show.
Yeah.
And A, where were you guys when we needed you at the live show? And B, are you not listening to our podcasts? We've told you what's going on. No, we get it. But they are, the Piffle live shows are taking a break. We got a lot of other things to take care of
On the horizon.
but we'll do them again at some point, just irregularly. But in the meantime, if you're like, hey, I want to listen to another podcast from Josh and Noah, we are kind of co-hosting, and I'm producing this German language alternative stand-up podcast for audible.de. So Audible, the what do you call it? The audiobook. Thank you. Audiobook company. They got in touch with us. They wanted us to produce this podcast for them about the German language stand-up scene here in Berlin, which is, German language comedy. not a lot of good things I can say about it. But there's this alternative stand-up scene that's been kind of cooking here in Berlin and a few other cities in Germany, but mostly in Berlin for the past little while. And in particular, the past year, all of a sudden there's now almost 5 to 6 open mics where a lot of younger guys and a few women as well, hopefully more women in the future, but these folks are doing what I would consider kind of more authentic, genuine, personal stand-up, the kind of comedy that you and I are used to from the States. And they're doing it in German, and it's really great. I'm having a good time going to these shows, and we've curated a slate of 6 comedians to do our first. We're going to record 2 episodes at once this Thursday.
Tickets are €4. God damn it, Josh! This podcast is nothing but an advertisement.
Well, that's all right. We'll move on. But I'd say come on out to that. Noah and I are it's kind of the perspective of 2 American comedians looking at the German scene. So there's that. What? Okay, good.
Done.
Come to that. Sad news this morning.
God damn! Waking up to some sad news this morning.
That was I made breakfast for my daughter and sat down at the breakfast table, and in the old days, I'm sure you pull out the newspaper. Dad pulls out the newspaper. Nowadays, Dad pulls out his smartphone and reads the news. And literally, as soon as I pulled out my phone, the Guardian headline popped up.
Yeah,
the breaking news thing that Bowie is gone. And that's I just said like, oh fuck, and of course my kid is right in front of me and I feel a little bad about that, but it was such a knee jerk reaction. It's just like a gut punch.
Yeah, and I didn't even know he was sick.
I didn't know either. And did you listen to his new album yet?
No.
It's actually, I mean, it's certainly not one of his more accessible albums. His recent ones haven't been that like in terms of broadly accessible, but this one. It's actually like I've been listening to it for the past week since it came out. I think it only came out on Tuesday, actually.
Yeah. There was a huge release party actually last week,
right,
in Berlin.
Yeah,
sort of one of his, obviously the Berlin trilogy.
Yeah,
one of his.
I mean, the album at first listen, it was I don't know, and then the more I listened to it, the more I got like really into it. It's really good, but it's interesting because I don't know, it felt a little bit like okay, like he kind of knew maybe a little bit. But really sad news. I think it's always tough when someone that you admire, or let me put it this way: it's always, when some famous person, celebrity, particularly an artist of some kind, passes away. It's always sad. Mm. But there's something about Bowie where he had such a connection to like. Literally, my entire Facebook and Twitter feed is just full of people, and that's all they're talking about. And I have a kind of an eclectic mix of people that I follow, so that it just shows you
across the whole spectrum.
I was thinking about it too because I think Bowie was really one of the first artists that like I really liked and had a lot of albums on my own, but that our father also really liked. I think he was one of the first artists that, like beyond just kind of like, oh yeah, I like them, they're okay, and Dad likes them. He was really the first one where I was like, Bowie's fucking great, and our dad also thought the same thing. It was like the only artist
that you sort of discovered aside from Dad.
Yeah, exactly. That I kind of really went out of. I mean, because I'm sure I heard Bowie from our dad playing Bowie albums and tunes, but that was the first artist where I was like, oh, I got to look into this myself.
Yeah. And I mean, just in our generation, like his ability to span generations.
Yeah.
That's his. I mean, everyone knows him as the Goblin King.
Right.
At least in my
from
generation.
The Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Which is, oh man.
And everybody knows, his collaboration with Queen.
Yeah.
For Under Pressure. And yeah, it's just his ability. And just his beautiful weirdness. This is Ziggy Stardust. Just
man.
like some...
Just unabashedly himself.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I don't want to boast too much, but like some weird connection to us as he moved to Woodstock. He lived in Woodstock for a long time too.
Right.
And also, gained a lot of artistic influence here in Berlin.
Yeah, exactly. There's this kind of weird thread that ends up coming through. Yeah. And it's funny because I remember in college I did this video. We had to do, I went to film school, and so a lot of the first year classes was actually more about photography, and so you do a lot of these kind of video collages with photographs, and then a lot of kind of like much more in the art realm stuff. And I did this project that was, it was kind of not, I don't want to say tongue in cheek, but it was like a humorous thing. My videos were mostly funny, but I did this whole thing about Bowie, about how like, and it's crazy because it holds even more true like to this day, 15 years later. But particularly also back then, he was this crazy person who, I mean, if you take away like the costumes and the makeup and the faces he went through, he looked better the older he got. Like he turned into like, it was just crazy. You saw like 90s, early 2000s Bowie, and it was like, you could never tell that he was in his, I guess, 50s at that point.
Yeah.
And then you look at like these the videos and photos of him from the 60s and early 70s, and he's such an awkward looking dude.
Yeah.
Like stripping away the Ziggy Stardust stuff and all the costumes and the whatever. He was, I mean, just this strange looking guy that just kind of like somehow as he got older got better looking. Anyway.
Yeah. He has a tough weekend, man. Tough weekend. A lot of sad news coming out. Deaths.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's not turn this into a sad podcast.
No, I know. I feel like we do need to give a quick shout out to Leith, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have I don't know. I mean, he was a babysitter for us for a long time when we were kids.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone else now, someone from Woodstock who took care of us, watched us. And a lot of kids in Woodstock, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think among our generation, pretty much everyone knows Leith.
Yeah, our generation, and even, younger generation.
Younger generation, too.
He also worked for a long time at the Woodstock Day School.
Right.
That's sort of why he has this connection to the
exactly. One of like the genuinely good people, just across the board, like
not a negative bone in his body.
No, and just
recently passed away, and sort of a shock to everyone. Not a shock, but
he was sick for a while, but it's
very sad.
Exactly.
So just a shout out to him.
Yeah, keeping him in our thoughts. His family.
We've got just an amazing photograph actually of us sitting around him eating ice cream when we were all like, I don't know how old you were. I think I was probably 3 or something.
Right. So I was
6.
Yeah. No. I think 7. I was about 7 or 8. Yeah. So you were 3 or 4.
Maybe we'll put that as the
image.
Yeah.
Sure, we can do that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's floating around Facebook again.
Yeah. I had to share it.
Yeah. It's a good one. That's a good one. Right. Okay. Let's. Sad news. This is turning into a bummer podcast.
Damn, we tried.
We really tried.
Well, guys, sometimes you got to get real for a second. Can't always have funny games, but you always got to laugh. Laughter doesn't mean that you're making fun of someone. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily a negative thing. If you can find humor in tragedy, there's beauty in that, I think. So maybe that's our goal this week, Josh, is to find some humor out of all this tragedy. Mm-hmm. He's not convinced. It's our job.
Hey, honey.
Yeah?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh, God, I know. I'm so sorry that I disappeared for a week.
Yeah, I was wondering where you were.
I'm back now. I don't have good news.
Okay, you didn't call me for a week.
I know. Look, here's the thing. I know we've been married a long time.
I'm really upset right
25
now.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. God, I'd always say this.
Just say it. You've never had a problem.
I mean, you see me right now, right? You see me?
Yeah.
I'm a good-looking guy, right?
You're really handsome.
I know. Can I say this?
Yeah.
I know this. I look better now than when we got married.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure.
And okay, all right. So we got that, right? We've got that point A.
Okay. What are you saying?
I don't feel like we're at the same level anymore.
Well, I mean, I'm a lady.
Yeah.
And you're a man.
No, I know that, but you look old.
What the hell?
I'm just saying, like,
That is not something you say to your wife.
No, I get it. It's just, look, these are the facts. Okay? I know we're both 55 now.
Do you also?
But let's be honest right now. Do I look 55?
Well, yeah.
No.
You look 55, but a handsome 55.
Can I just tell you something right now? This past week, I just wanted to lock this in just to make sure that I was right about this. I flew out to Berlin.
Okay.
I flew all the way to Germany. I flew to the club capital of Europe.
Sure.
And I went to all the clubs. And I didn't try to do anything. But all the kids, they thought I was like in my 20s.
They probably thought your vibe was like a youthful vibe. I mean, I don't want to get you wrong. Don't get me wrong.
There was this.
You're like you're like a George Clooney.
I know, that's exact. I was literally just about to say that. One of these women that I slept with,
What?
She told me that I looked like George Clooney in his 20s.
What?
So these are just facts, okay?
Do you also want to know a fact? You made a promise to me on our wedding day that you would be with me until death do us part.
Yeah, but part of those vows was that we were gonna grow together, and I feel like we haven't grown together. You look like a ugly 55-year-old.
I grew.
I look like a very handsome.
You didn't grow with
TV
me.
star in his 20s.
Why?
And you know what? That's fair. You know, we can say that. You grew ugly and I did not.
You didn't grow
you know
at
what?
all.
You're right. This isn't my fault. I didn't grow with you.
This is your fault.
But I still think we should get a divorce. Because there are a couple of girls in Berlin who, I don't blame them, but when they found out I was married, they didn't want to do anything anymore. And so I said, tell you what, ladies, I'm going to take a pause here. Just hit the pause button, fly back home here to Illinois.
That doesn't sound like Berlin girls to me.
Well, these were the American girls living in Berlin now.
You went to Berlin to meet Americans?
Well,
What kind of place is that?
let me tell you something. It is fucking crazy. And you know that I have not cursed in 15 years.
Yeah, I'm
Ever
shocked.
since you
changed for a week.
Yeah, well, I just looked in the mirror a couple weeks ago and I realized I am a damn good-looking man.
Yeah.
And I am wasting my talents here.
Okay. Leave me.
Okay, I'm so glad you understand.
Of course I understand. I'm just a simple Midwest housewife.
Right. Here's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh boy, I don't know how to put this one
Be
either.
honest with me. You've never had trouble being honest with me.
This house, it looks a lot better than it did when we moved in 25 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, we've done a lot of work to this house. This is a good looking, solid house.
We're trying to pay off, we're trying to sell it eventually, like we talked about.
Right. And oh God, it doesn't really fit you.
What?
I just feel like you're not really the right kind of person for this house. So I think I'm going to take the house too.
You can't just take the house.
Well, technically, I'm the one who's paying off the mortgage.
Oh, I'm just a
And
housewife. I don't pay any bills.
So, also, since we traded in our Camry for that Mercedes, which was a really nice, good-looking car,
Yeah.
that's mine too.
God damn it. You're just going to leave me out to dry?
Well, no, look.
Like an old bag of bones?
Look.
An old sack of flesh?
Jeremy, okay? Our lovely son Jeremy.
Who looks now older than you.
Yeah. You get to hang out with him. And me and Sarah, okay, our beautiful young daughter who's in all those beauty pageants, she'll be hanging out with me. Okay. Thanks so much for your understanding.
I think my tears here actually just
Your cat came to your
concerned
rescue.
my cat.
Yeah. Your cat thought you were actually crying.
Oh boy,
Good. All right. That was something.
old bag of bones there.
That was that's pretty horrible.
Yeah, well,
That was a tough one for me to power through.
oh,
Nice. What else do we want to talk about, Noah? Is that it? I think.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I could talk about that are just gonna get me so angry. So let's not.
Holy. Are we? You were literally about to bring up what started off the podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
That led to a 20-minute long.
Let's not go there.
No, but right now, fuck a lot of German media and politicians.
That's right.
Can we just say that?
Yeah, let's leave it there.
Focus magazine, fuck them.
Fuck Focus. Süddeutsch auch.
Süddeutsche
Also?
Zeitung. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, look it up and get angry. Okay.
Cool.
So we
This has been a real
weird podcast. Stay happy, everybody. Things. I was about to say things get better, which is a weird thing to say. That is not appropriate in any way.
It gets better, guys. Until, the next batch of bad news. If you feel as miserable as we do right now, maybe just find one of those things you like to do and just do it. For us, it's going to be performing this week.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to laugh, come out to that. That's a good way to get over some shit news.
Yeah. Come out on Thursday. Make our podcast sound like it's got like 100 people in it.
Yeah. Of course, if you speak German.
Even if you don't, you could learn a little bit of German this way.
Yeah. Come out and see if you can understand jokes in German.
Hey, if you live in Berlin and you can't,
Doesn't
get
really
on
matter.
that.
Doesn't really matter.
Sure, but get on that. All right, everybody. I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks for listening.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Let's hope no one else we admire. That's sure hope that no one else we love and admire
dies
this week.
Guys, if you are one of those people that we admire,
don't die.
Try not to die at least for another week.
Holy shit. All right, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Kisses.